All weaponized, the demon returns to welcome you back to Banger's weekly metal review show, and I'm your host, Sam Astroth. What have I been up to? I've been going hard in the studio for the last 3 weeks, recording vocals for my band Astroth Incarnate's full-length album, and I cannot wait to share with you all. Before anything else, so please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as signing up to our Patreon, and we got it filled with offers and merch that screams language of metal. Alright, I'm gonna introduce someone Hordes of Demons for this one, because this is fellow Toronto deathcore rising force Brand of Sacrifice with their newest sacrificial offering titled Lifeblood.
Survivalist based on my devotion. I will demand for your mercy. I will restore fear on your mercies. The reign of the demon king. With viper and compulsion, kill to bleed, destroying my enemy.
That was a ridiculously heavy yet infectious lead single titled Demon King off of their newest LP titled Lifeblood, out today, March 5th, and is self-released independently. Brand of Sacrifice came into existence back in February 2018 after reimagining their band name from the Afterimage, which was a rather progressive metalcore project with the same lineup they ran before rebranding to their current brutal deathcore formation, and oh boy have they been on fire ever since. They released their first EP back in 2018, the same year they started, called The Interstice, and then afterwards released their first debut full-length album, God Hand, which came out with critical acclaim and debuted at number 20 on the Billboard Heatseekers chart. This also landed them on a Summer Slaughter tour the same year with the likes of Cattle Decapitation, The Faceless, Carnifex, Rivers of Nile, as well as Lorna Shore, as well as landing them a world tour with Tech Vets Rings of Saturn, as well as a tour with fellow deathcore rising titans Shadow of Intent. The idea for the Brand of Sacrifice project came into fruition with vocalist Cal Anderson's love for the anime Berserk. It's a cult classic anime, and for anyone that has even heard of the name or seen an episode or movie knows how brutally unforgiving this anime is. And just like this, Kyle, his bandmates, and their loyal followers, the Branded Ones, do not take no prisoners. The band's uncompromisingly crushing yet modern take on the classic deathcore formula is comprised by utilizing an array of influences inside and outside extreme metal, as well as incorporating a choir and an ensemble of orchestration that really make them stand out. Fast forward to 2021, Brand of Sacrifice are ready to unleash their newest effort, Lifeblood, which focuses on the anime Berserk's lead protagonist, Guts. This album also has an impressive array of features from the likes of I Prevail, Emmure, Shadow of Intent, Viscera, and Traitors. Alright, enough talk. Let's get into this beast of an album. Right off the bat, with intertrack Dawn, muttering the words, "Hatred is returned when you can't face your grief." The band takes no time to kick into full gear, and you notice right away that this album has massive production that is even more pummeling than their previous efforts, exemplified by laser-sharp structures and a wide range of dynamics. The album takes brutality and catchiness to another level, with memorable choruses comprising of choirs, string orchestrations, and synths alongside bludgeoning breakdowns. Talking about breakdowns, the track I showed you earlier titled Demon King has probably the most ridiculous breakdowns I've ever heard in any song ever, to the point where it literally makes me giggle, frown, smile, and Guts knows what else every time I hear it, how insane it is. If you don't believe me, check it out for yourself. Literally, my brain hurts. Why is Kyle so OP? Alright, moving along. Next up is a song that I literally played like 30 times on repeat when I first heard it. This track, titled Animal, has probably the best chorus in this entire album, and for how stupidly heavy this album is, this album has a lot of great choruses. Try to get this not stuck in your head. after you're done playing that song, chorus, track, whatever, 100 times or so, let's talk about some of the amazing features on Lifeblood. Lifeblood is stacked with features from titans of the genre. Songs like Prophecy of the Falcon has Emmure vocalist Frank Palmieri with crazy blast beats mixed with the band's signature mix of sounds. Moral Vessel has admittedly the most intense and impactful intro of any song off the album and features none other than Ben Dewar of Shadow of Intent and is a straight banger. Foe of the Inhuman featuring Eric from I Prevail has a bit of a welcoming, clean vocal that is introduced into the mix. That was lovely, actually. Another song with a sick mix of clean vocals with all the brutality is one of my personal favorites of the album, titled Vengeance, which features Jamie Graham of Viscera. Last feature on the album is on Ruins, featuring Tyler Shelton off of Traitors, and this one has some sick riffage. All the features aside, every song on Lifeblood, including the orchestral interludes, are packed with ultra creativeness and deserve their spot on the album, which brings me to the title track and closing track of the album, titled Lifeblood. Kyle is an absolute monster on vocals throughout this album, and Lifeblood closes off the album with yet another memorable chorus going, "Rise up, time to rise from the ashes, rise up, this is the signal to ascend." Super memorable, and then a final breakdown reminiscent of Brand of Sacrifice's biggest song to date, Eclipse. Alright, now it's time for the bad parts. Well, to be honest, I'm having a really hard time finding bad things to say about this album, so I'll point out maybe what the critics could possibly say. Like, if you don't like Cookie Monster vocals, this album is not for you. If you don't like Cookie... Okay, fine. If I had to nitpick, then I could say that maybe the song lengths are not too diverse, and generally all the songs sit between 2, 3, and 4 minute mark. And maybe you want something of a more extensive listen, and you won't find that on this album. Aside from that, maybe this album could have had a bit more clean vocals brought into the mix, just to kind of let the listeners, head not keep getting blown off by Kyle's monstrosity. Also, if you don't like a lot of breakdowns, then again, maybe this album is not for you, but I do want to point out that these are not your typical breakdowns. Yeah, that's about it. By the powers invested in me, by the Archdemons, the God Hands Apostles, let's get into the dreaded verdict. From the beginning till the end, Brand of Sacrifice just keeps on their relentless onslaught, and it just keeps coming waves after waves. I can't recall the last time I heard an album this heavy yet this catchy and memorable. Seriously, I'm impressed is an understatement. Lifeblood simply just rules. Therefore, I'm giving this album 4.5 guts in Berserk mode out of 5 here on Overkill Reviews. Okay, after being that excited about the Brand of Sacrifice album, let's get into the shoutouts. First up, I got Portugal's Gothic Metal Kings Moonspell releasing their latest album titled Hermitage, which came out on February 26th via Napalm Records. Moonspell simply never disappoints, and Fernando's vocal compositions in this album are simply mind-blowing. Next up, I got one of my favorite guitarists, Hizaki, releasing his instrumental power metal album titled Rusalka, which came out in February 2017. For anyone that does not know of Hizaki, he's the lead guitarist of Japanese visual kei bands Versailles as well as Jupiter, and I highly recommend you to check his work out. All of his work. Seriously, the shredding never stops with this guy. Next up is Dutch symphonic metal titans Epica with their latest offering titled Omega, which came out on February 26th via Nuclear Blast Records. Comprised of 12 new tracks alongside the specially notable masterpiece 13-minute plus song Kingdom of Heaven. I highly recommend you check this out. This is a fantastic new release from Simon and the gang. Last but not least, I got Danish death metal band Baest with their third studio offering titled Necro Sapiens, which came out today via Century Media Records. These guys bring an old school death metal feel with flavors of some sick riffage and is definitely worth a listen. So Banger fans, what are your thoughts on the latest Brand of Sacrifice album? Leave a comment below and let me know. And make sure to subscribe to Banger's YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our upcoming releases. We got some great new shows coming. And thanks again for watching Overkill Reviews. Until next time, ciao.